They think they can silence us. They think they can dig through our private messages, our emails, our Google accounts, and call it justice. They think if they throw around enough legal jargon, if they dangle enough million-dollar lawyers, if they wear a big enough smile on the red carpet, they'll scare us into submission. Well, not today, because today I woke up to an email that made my blood run cold. A subpoena delivered through Google demanding access to my account, my messages, my work, my sources. And why? Because I dared to speak, because I dared to tell the truth about a Hollywood celebrity who's been hiding behind a carefully manufactured image. That's all it took. This isn't just a legal request. It's an act of war on press freedom, on creators, on anyone who believes in independent journalism. And the name behind this subpoena, Blake Lively. Yes, Blake Lively, the same Blake Lively who's sold herself as America's sweetheart, as Hollywood's golden girl, as a champion of women and free speech. But behind that picture-perfect persona is a machine, a legal and PR machine, that is now targeting journalists and content creators who didn't bow to her narrative. She doesn't want justice, she wants obedience, and if you think I'm the only one, you're wrong. Multiple creators, Perez Hilton, Signor, and more have been hit with the same demand. This is a coordinated effort to intimidate and punish those of us who dared to pull back the curtain on a toxic, abusive culture of silence in Hollywood. This isn't about gossip, this isn't about clicks, this is about power. It's about a celebrity and her legal team trying to make an example out of the very people who have fought to expose the truth. And let me be crystal clear, I am not named in her lawsuit. I'm not being sued. I'm a third party, a journalist, a content creator. And now because I published a viral interview that revealed a side of Blake the public wasn't supposed to see, she wants access to my entire Google account. Absolutely not. This video isn't just about me, it's about all of us. Every creator, every writer, every voice online that has ever challenged the Hollywood machine and faced consequences for it. If this is allowed to stand, it sets a terrifying precedent. So buckle in, because I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, how far Blake Lively's team is going to cover this up, who else is being targeted, and what it means for the future of truth-telling online. This is bigger than Blake. This is bigger than me. This is about fighting back, and I'm not going anywhere. This isn't about justice, this is about control. It's about scaring people into silence. Blake Lively and her team are sending a message loud and clear: if you dare speak about her in a way she doesn't like, even if it's truthful, even if it's fair, even if it's just your experience, you may wake up one day to find a subpoena in your inbox. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you committed a crime, but because you made her uncomfortable. That's what this is really about: power and comfort. She's used to controlling her image, and now she's spiraling because she can't control this. Let me be honest, I don't like making videos like this. I don't want to talk about legal notices and subpoenas. I don't want to be consumed by anxiety over whether some Google legal team is going to hand over years of emails, notes, messages, documents, my entire work history essentially. But I have to, because if I don't, they win. Silence is their victory. And if we've learned anything from history, from McCarthyism to more modern cancel culture, it's that silence never protects you. It only protects the ones doing the silencing. I've had sources reach out to me in confidence. People in the industry, victims, insiders, people who have been waiting years to tell their story and finally saw someone willing to listen. And now they're at risk, because Blake Lively wants to know if I've ever emailed someone connected to Wayfarer Studios. What exactly does she expect to find? A smoking gun, a conspiracy? Let me save her the trouble. There's nothing, because this isn't some coordinated effort. This is a grassroots movement of people finally saying we see through the facade. And here's what's truly chilling: this legal action doesn't just violate my rights, it chills every single person who might have ever thought about speaking up. Every journalist who's ever been on the fence about covering someone powerful. Every whistleblower who considered sending an anonymous tip. If subpoenas like this are allowed to stand, if judges don't push back, then what's to stop every A-lister from doing the same thing? What's to stop Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift, or any other PR-savvy celebrity from subpoenaing creators the moment they publish something controversial? Let me say this as clearly as I can: this is not just about Blake Lively. This is about the future of journalism, of content creation, of free speech, of whistleblowing. This is about whether the court system will continue to be abused by powerful people trying to crush dissent, because let's face it, Blake Lively isn't used to being criticized. Her entire brand is built on likability. She's America's blonde sweetheart, the wholesome one, the beautiful one. She's a mom. She's married to the lovable Ryan Reynolds. She has that effortless fashion aesthetic, the soft voice, the perfect skin, the witty Instagram captions. But what happens when that image cracks? What happens when people start talking about what it's like behind the scenes? She panics. She retaliates, she sues, she subpoenas. Let me remind everyone I didn't say anything defamatory. I posted an interview, I shared my experience, and others shared their reactions. That's not a smear campaign, that's transparency. But Blake doesn't want transparency, she wants obedience. And when she doesn't get it, she turns to the courts. And now she's bringing Ryan Reynolds into it too. His name is all over the legal filings. His legal team is working side by side with hers, and frankly it makes you wonder what exactly are they so afraid will come out. If they were truly confident in their innocence, if they truly believed they did nothing wrong, why go to such extreme lengths to silence a few independent creators? Why go after people like Signor, Perez Hilton, and Candace Owens? Why me? Because they know that the court of public opinion is starting to shift. They know that the days of glowing puff pieces and planted tabloid features are fading. People are waking up, they're asking harder questions. And for a media-trained celebrity couple who've coasted on likability for a decade, that's terrifying. And let's talk about the hypocrisy. The New York Times ran a hit piece accusing us of being part of some misogynistic media ecosystem. But where's the coverage now? Where's the follow-up story about how Blake Lively is subpoenaing journalists? Where's the op-ed defending the free press? They were eager to write about YouTubers crossing a line, but now that a celebrity is doing it, they fall silent. That's not journalism, that's PR by omission. I'd love to see the New York Times report on this subpoena. I'd love to see People magazine run a headline that reads Blake Lively targets free press with Google subpoena. But they won't, because they're part of the machine. They're the ones Blake uses to rehabilitate her image. They're the outlets she turns to when she wants sympathy. But here's the truth, that sympathy is running out. People are angry. They're tired of being lied to. They're tired of the fake apologies, the performative feminism, the Instagram statements written by a crisis PR team. They're tired of watching powerful people play victim while actually victimizing others. And they're especially tired of watching the legal system be used as a personal shield for celebrities. What Blake Lively is doing right now is not just aggressive, it's dangerous. It sets a precedent that will haunt the internet for years to come. If she succeeds in compelling Google to hand over private communications from journalists and creators, then the next time someone wants to speak out, they'll think twice. They'll wonder, am I going to get a subpoena for this? That's not how a free society functions. That's how an oligarchy functions. That's how propaganda states function, not democracies. I'm going to fight this. I'm already talking to lawyers. I've reached out to other creators. We're considering banding together as a legal defense coalition. Because none of us should have to do this alone. This is a David versus Goliath situation. It's indie creators and journalists up against multi-million-dollar lawyers from the most powerful legal firms in Hollywood. But I'll tell you what Goliath doesn't realize, David has an audience now. David has a voice, and people are paying attention. If you're a lawyer who believes in the First Amendment, who understands the gravity of this situation, reach out. Help us make this case a turning point, not a cautionary tale. And if you're someone who's watching this, know this: the future of truth-telling depends on your support. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is about the soul of free speech. And Blake, if you're watching, if your legal team is watching, just know you won't silence us. You can subpoena every inbox, you can plant every story, you can pressure every platform. But people still won't like you because you don't earn admiration by bullying critics. You earn it by being honest, by showing remorse, by owning your actions, and that's something you've never done. This isn't just backlash, this is a reckoning. And let me take a moment to speak directly to the people who are still defending her. The fans, the diehard supporters, the ones flooding DMs and comment sections saying things like you're obsessed or you just want clout. You know what I want the truth, I want transparency, I want accountability. If calling out unethical behavior makes me obsessed, then fine. But let's stop pretending this is about anything other than abuse of power, because that's exactly what this is. Blake Lively and her legal team aren't trying to get to the truth. If they were, they wouldn't be targeting journalists who aren't even part of the lawsuit. They're trying to scare people. They're trying to send a message to every person watching: if you speak, we will come after you. Not with tweets, not with rebuttals, but with legal threats, subpoenas, gag orders. Tactics straight out of a political war room, not a civil legal proceeding. And this goes far beyond her. What we are seeing here is the dark underbelly of celebrity culture, the rot underneath the red carpet. This is what happens when fame becomes a shield, when public adoration is used as a weapon. This isn't just one woman overreacting. This is a system designed to protect the powerful at all costs. Because if Blake wins this, it sets the stage for every celebrity who doesn't like being criticized to turn around and do the exact same thing. Think about that. Imagine a world where no one can post about a negative celebrity interaction without a court order being dropped on their doorstep. where posting a clip from a public interview becomes grounds for subpoena, where the simple act of commenting on a public figure's actions is reframed as a campaign, a conspiracy, a legal threat. That's not free speech. That's not journalism. That's authoritarianism with a publicist. And let's not forget, Blake Lively is not some powerless woman being piled on. She is incredibly wealthy, incredibly well-connected. She has one of the most polished, managed reputations in Hollywood. She has elite lawyers, studio ties, and access to the biggest media platforms on earth. If she feels threatened by a YouTube video or a tweet that says more about her insecurity than it does about our integrity, we need to stop allowing wealth and fame to masquerade as virtue. We need to stop assuming that a glossy magazine cover means someone is morally untouchable. Because behind every People magazine feature, behind every Mom of the Year spread or cutesy Instagram moment, there is a team, a strategy, a ruthless PR campaign designed to sanitize everything. That's what this subpoena is, an extension of the brand, a way to keep the Blake Lively good girl fantasy alive. But here's the problem: reality doesn't bend to PR. You can try to bury the truth, you can try to silence creators, but eventually people catch on. People see the patterns. And once they do, there's no going back. The illusion cracks. And no amount of subpoenas can uncrack it. The timing of all this is also telling. This subpoena wasn't filed in a vacuum. It comes at a moment when public sympathy is shifting, when people are questioning the narratives they've been sold, when independent journalism is being taken more seriously than legacy outlets. It's no coincidence that Blake's team is scrambling. They're used to total control, and now they're seeing a world they can't contain. They tried to paint Justin Baldoni as some manipulative mastermind. They tried to tie him to this so-called smear campaign without proof. And when that didn't work, when the media refused to bite, they pivoted. They went after the messengers instead. That's what this is. They couldn't kill the story, so now they're trying to kill the storytellers. Let me repeat something because it bears repeating. I am not part of the lawsuit. I am not named in any complaint. I am not even affiliated with Wayfarer Studios, yet I received a subpoena. For what? For posting an interview that went viral, for having a title that described how I felt, for daring to not tell the celebrity narrative. That's not justice, that's persecution. And I want to be very clear, this isn't about whether you like me or not. It's not about whether you agree with my tone, my perspective, my past content. This is about what's right. This is about protecting the basic rights of independent creators to do our jobs without fear of corporate retaliation. If Blake Lively can use the courts to intimidate me, she can do it to anyone. You don't have to like me to understand why this matters. And it's exhausting. This whole thing has been emotionally draining. It affects your sleep, your mental health, your ability to focus. It makes you question everything. Should I post that? Should I cover this? Will I get sued for saying that? That's exactly what they want. They want you to second guess yourself. They want you to hesitate. Because hesitation leads to silence. And silence protects power. But I won't be silent. I didn't go through all this just to back down now. I've seen what happens when you tell the truth. Yes, you get attacked. Yes, they try to discredit you, but you also find your community. You find people who believe in you, who support you, who know that truth-telling matters, even when it's inconvenient. And the irony is that every time they try to silence us, they just make the story bigger. Every time Blake Lively or her team files something like this, more people start asking, what are they so afraid of? That's the real story here. That's what they can't suppress: curiosity, truth, accountability. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about Blake Lively's public image, it's about a bigger cultural shift. We're watching in real time as audiences move away from carefully crafted celebrity narratives and toward raw, unfiltered stories. The old playbook doesn't work anymore. You can't just gaslight an entire internet into believing you're the victim when the receipts say otherwise. Not in 2025. So what now? What happens next? I'm not entirely sure. I know I'll be speaking to lawyers. I know I'll be joining forces with other subpoenaed creators. We're exploring legal options, potential joint motions to quash and possibly even counter litigation if this crosses into harassment territory. We're stronger together. And believe me, there are more of us than they think. I also know this case will set a precedent. However the judge rules, it will echo through creator spaces, journalism circles, and legal forums. If this subpoena stands, expect a flood of similar tactics from other celebrities. But if it's struck down, if the court affirms that journalists can't be intimidated like this, then maybe, just maybe, we'll start building a better, freer, more honest media landscape. We need to stop allowing Hollywood privilege to override democratic principles. We need to stop pretending that celebrities are somehow more entitled to privacy and protection than the rest of us, especially when they voluntarily put themselves in the public eye and then abuse their status to attack others. It's time we asked ourselves what kind of culture we want to live in. Do we want one where only the rich and powerful get to tell their side of the story? Or do we want one where everyone, regardless of follower count or legal budget, gets to speak the truth? Because if we let this slide, we lose something much bigger than a few YouTube videos. We lose the right to criticize, the right to investigate, the right to challenge power, and that's a loss none of us can afford. And look, this is not the first time a celebrity has used the courts as a weapon. We've seen it before. Think about when Beyoncé tried to shut down that unflattering photo from the Super Bowl halftime show, or when Tom Cruise aggressively pursued tabloids over rumors about his personal life, or when Taylor Swift threatened to sue a blogger for linking her to white supremacist fan circles. There's a long pattern here. But what makes this different, what makes Blake Lively's move especially dangerous, is that it's not aimed at traditional media, it's aimed at us, the digital public. The people with microphones and laptops and audiences they can't buy off, and that's what they hate. They can't control us. They can't offer us exclusive red carpet access or brand deals to play nice. We don't owe them anything. So they weaponize the one tool they still have: fear. It's an intimidation campaign masquerading as legal due process, but it's not working. Because people are finally seeing through it, and not just viewers, creators too. I've spoken to several other journalists and commentators who received the same exact subpoena. Some of them are furious, some are scared, some are still trying to process what it means. One of them told me, "I never even made a video about Blake Lively, I just shared a link to someone else's, and still they were targeted." Why? Because guilt by association is enough when you're a celebrity looking for scapegoats. Another creator I spoke to broke down in tears. She's a single mother who runs a small commentary channel from her apartment. She doesn't have a lawyer on retainer. She doesn't have the money to fight this, and now she's terrified that Blake Lively's team will get access to her emails, her photos, her messages, her entire digital life. All because she dared to comment on a viral interview. That's who Blake is attacking. Not the establishment, not the corporations. Everyday people, creators, women, journalists, whistleblowers. And the irony, she's doing it while claiming to stand for empowerment, feminism, upliftment. How empowering is it to subpoena the inbox of a mother trying to make ends meet by doing honest reporting? This is what Blake Lively's brand has become: fragile, litigious, and obsessed with perception. And here's another thing the mainstream media won't say: this isn't just Blake. Ryan Reynolds is right there with her. He is co-signing this behavior. He's funding it. His name is in the filings, and yet where's the backlash for him? Why is Blake being treated as the sole villain here when her husband is just as involved? Where are the op-eds calling him out? Where are the critics asking why Deadpool's star is trying to kill press freedom? It's a double standard. And it reveals a lot about how we view women and men in the public eye. Blake is being called manipulative and desperate. Ryan is being ignored, protected, treated like he's just along for the ride. He's not, he's the ride. And honestly, the silence from Hollywood is deafening. Where are the other celebrities? Where are the actors who claim to stand for free speech and creative expression? Where are the directors and producers who love to talk about the power of storytelling? Nowhere. Because they're all scared to, or worse, they're complicit. This whole situation has revealed just how deeply broken the entertainment industry is, how tightly controlled it all is, how quickly progressive values vanish when someone's image is on the line. You won't see Blake Lively on a Vogue cover being asked about these subpoenas. You won't see Ryan Reynolds grilled about this on Fallon or Colbert. You won't see the truth because the machine won't allow it, but the internet will, and that's why they're panicking. Because for the first time, there's a platform they can't dominate, a narrative they can't fully spin. People like me are showing the cracks in the armor, and rather than fix the behavior, they're trying to destroy the mirror. Well, I won't let them, and I know I'm not alone. Because now lawyers are reaching out, media experts are weighing in, even former federal judges are chiming in anonymously, horrified at what this could mean for precedent. One legal analyst told me if the judge allows this subpoena to go through without a narrowly tailored scope, it could fundamentally change how subpoenas are used in civil litigation against journalists and independent reporters. It's dangerous. That's not some radical opinion, that's legal fact. And the more attention this gets, the more pressure there will be on the court to shut it down. Which is why Blake's team is trying so hard to bury it. They want this handled quietly, privately. They want people like me to delete our videos and apologize. They want us to back down. But we're not backing down. If anything, we're doubling down. Because what they don't understand, what they never understood, is that truth doesn't go away just because it's uncomfortable. You can try to cover it up. You can try to punish the people who speak it. But eventually it gets out. That's the power of the internet. That's the power of community. That's the power of us. And honestly, there's a strange kind of clarity that comes with all this. When you realize the people you once admired are capable of this level of vindictiveness, it shatters the illusion, but it also frees you because you stop caring about pleasing them, you stop caring about access, you stop caring about being liked, and you start focusing on what matters: telling the truth, protecting your integrity, standing up for others. Blake Lively wanted obedience. What she got was resistance. She wanted silence. What she got was a movement. She wanted control. What she got was exposure, and this is just the beginning. So now we come to the part where I have to ask the hard question, not just to myself, but to all of you watching this, reading this, following along. What kind of world are we going to accept? What kind of media ecosystem are we going to defend? Because this moment is a fork in the road. Either we say no more or we surrender everything that makes free speech possible. And if we don't fight this now, we'll wake up in a digital landscape where only sanitized, studio-approved narratives are allowed to exist. A place where commentary is censored by intimidation. Where Google becomes a legal handmaiden to celebrity reputation management. Where creators are afraid to speak. Where journalists are gagged before they ever get the chance to tell the truth. That's not just dystopian fiction, that's the reality we're staring down. Blake Lively has shown us who she is. She's shown us that when faced with criticism, when confronted with uncomfortable truth, she won't self-reflect, she won't apologize. She'll litigate, she'll attack, she'll claim victimhood while quietly weaponizing legal power behind closed doors. And Ryan Reynolds, don't think he gets to skate by. His silence is complicity. His name is on the filings, his money is funding the intimidation, and not once has he stepped in to de-escalate this. Not even when journalists, mothers, content creators, and everyday people were receiving threats to their privacy and livelihoods. So to both of them, Blake and Ryan, I say this: you may have the money, you may have the lawyers, you may have the media relationships, but what you don't have anymore is the benefit of the doubt. What you've done here, attacking creators with subpoenas for daring to speak, is unforgivable. And worse, it's unforgettable. You can't walk this back. You can't PR spin your way out of this one. It's already too late, because now it's public. Now the court of public opinion is watching, and people are angry. This isn't just about me anymore. This is about every single creator who got that subpoena and thought, do I need to lawyer up to tell the truth? This is about every viewer who trusted the internet to provide a freer, less filtered lens on celebrity culture, and is now watching that lens being shattered. This is about journalism, about speech, about the power dynamic between the individual and the machine, and we're not backing down. We're organizing, we're connecting, we're comparing legal language and coordinating strategies. Lawyers have stepped up, advocacy groups are watching. Some of the biggest names in digital journalism are quietly preparing to file amicus briefs in our defense because they see it too. They see what's coming if this isn't stopped, and the more Blake Lively fights this, the more she reveals. She's showing the world how scared she is, how fragile the mask really is, how quick she is to abandon the values she pretends to stand for. And in doing so, she's igniting a backlash bigger than anything she's ever seen before. This is not going away. The media outlets that helped build her image are now on trial, to not in a courtroom, but in public trust. If the New York Times doesn't cover this story, they've chosen their side. If People magazine continues to publish puff pieces while ignoring her abuse of legal power, they've exposed themselves as nothing more than branded extensions of celebrity machinery. We are seeing a reckoning in real time, a crack in the system. And it's not going to be pretty, but it's necessary. Because for too long, celebrities have weaponized the court system to hide their flaws. They've used NDA threats to bury the truth. They've leaned on reputation managers and publicists to suppress dissent. But now people are watching, and they're not buying the act anymore. The truth is, this entire situation could have been avoided. All Blake Lively had to do at any point was apologize. Not with a press release, not through an anonymous source close to the star, but directly, personally, sincerely. She could have acknowledged what happened during that interview. She could have admitted that she mishandled it. She could have reached out human to human and taken accountability, but she didn't. Instead, she retaliated. She turned a moment of criticism into a war against speech. She turned a viral video into a full-blown legal crusade. And in doing so, she ensured that this story would live on forever, not as a footnote, but as a case study in celebrity overreach. Let this be a warning to every public figure who thinks they can weaponize the courts to suppress criticism. We see you, and we won't stay quiet. We are the new media. We are independent. We are resilient. We are many, and no matter how many subpoenas you send, you cannot erase the truth. So here's what's going to happen next. We fight back. We file motions to quash. We contact press freedom organizations. We rally support across platforms. We use our voices louder than ever before because this isn't just about a celebrity feud anymore, it's about the soul of the internet. It's about whether creators can survive in a world where billionaires can peek into your inbox just because they didn't like what you posted. And to every single one of you watching, reading, or listening, this matters more than you know. Today it's me, tomorrow it could be you. This case will determine whether your emails are safe, whether your right to speak your truth is protected, whether independent journalism is still legal when it makes the wrong person uncomfortable. So we push back, not just with lawyers, not just with commentary, but with community. We shine a light so bright they can't hide in the shadows anymore. Blake Lively may have started this fight, but she's not the one who's going to finish it. We are, because truth doesn't need a PR team, and integrity doesn't back down.